Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our next webinar in the series of marketing that we're doing in 2018. And today I just want to chat to you about a couple of things. I want to get updated with sales funnels, and also specifically we want to talk today about profiling of our clients and who our clients are. So just a bit of recap in the sales funnel is what we spoke about before was captivating content and creating content that was captivating, which means it's engaging, it's relevant, and it meets the needs of the client. It's not feature-based, it's not about you, it's about meeting the needs of the clients. And then understanding some form of capture content is that where are you able to capture the information from your clients. And we've been working with a number of clients this week looking at various mechanisms with it, whether it's a business card swap or it's an engagement of some sorts on the web, or whether it's an automatic form to fill out with Google Docs or a monkey survey or something like that, likes on a Facebook page. But somehow you want to be able to capture who is visiting you, who's engaging with you, and how that's going to work. You then got to categorize, how to categorize those people into as many different categories as you want. I was at a networking event this morning again, and just sitting, chatting to people and using the different shirt pockets and pant pockets with the cards I'm swapping, I'm instantly able to categorize who I'm speaking to and who I need to follow up directly afterwards. Then we need to clarify that information and then the convert. And after that, then once we've got the conversion, or we've got people captured, we need to have ongoing conversations with the people. And it's very key to have those ongoing conversations. And they can be one-on-one conversations. They can be electronic conversations as far as automatic emails, blog posts, and Skype messages, Zoom messages, and it's just a matter of working out how that's going to work and how you then are going to engage with individuals. So as we look at the whole thing and we begin to unpack a little bit about where we're going and how it's working, it's very key and critical to be able to understand who we're engaging with. Now, I want to just revert to that and just remember the sales cycle that we spoke about earlier, and that's a matter of saying, okay, you've got to educate, then you can sell, upsell, and resell. So that cycle there, going from creating a need, creating an awareness, right through to creating that confidence and that level of trust where your clients become dependent upon who you are. So it's very important just to understand and how that's going to go. But understanding the client's profile is a little harder. Now, one of the things that we're working quite hard on is just working on where your clients are or who your clients are. Now, the more information you can do here on understanding who your clients are, the better your understanding is going to be of who you're reaching. Now, let me just turn this screen off, and then we can kind of chat a little bit. There we go. All right. So let me just start the video. We can speak. It's like understanding who your clients are becomes critical, because if you're into the spray and pray approach of marketing and trying to unleash all you have upon the world in one big spurt, then all you're doing is creating a noise in a forest that no one's going to hear. So what you've got to do is you've got to develop different client archetypes. Now, we work with the 12 archetypes of movies and stories, and we can tell you a little bit about those, but ultimately it's a wheel of different types and analyzing. So in our business, we've got 4 different types of clients, and we've given them each a name, we've given them each a photo, we've given them each a profile and an understanding of who they are. So when we're writing material, when we're writing programs, when we're writing marketing campaigns and we're writing blog posts, we always write to a specific person. One of those four individual groups. I'm either speaking to Mark or Nadia, and then understanding who they are and understanding how that's going to work and understanding where we're going to be focusing on that. So it's very important to understand who your clients are. Now, one of the key things that we do is the more information you put into developing who your clients are, the better you can understand. So give your client categories or groups a name, define who they are. It doesn't mean that if you call your client Mark and you say that they're 32-year-old and they're a white guy and he's got this education, that you're excluding all non-white guys. Okay? It's just a personality that you're aiming at. It's a type. It's so much easier to speak to somebody when you've defined that character archetype, that you can then work around and grow your marketing material towards. So simple sort of things is you're looking for some sort of age gap. Now you can say they between 25 and 30. So you don't have to be that specific, but you've got to look at what we're really interested in is their behaviors in life, because their behaviors will mean that your communication to them needs to be in line with those behaviors. And the best way to define a behavior is to define and understanding where that is and growing that. So it's very interesting. You want to look at where they are, where they're living, who they're married to, how many kids they have, what are their habits, what things do they read, what websites do they go, what type of movies do they look at, what type of books would they read, the type of car that they're driving, gym activities, other hobbies, sports interests, and that. Because once you've defined that, it's very easy to work out how to communicate with that different group of client. Okay, so the more information you put into that, the better your marketing is going to be. And it's not something you're just going to sit down and say, okay, let's spend 5-10 minutes doing this, and we can work that out. It's not that easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of various inputs into that. So speak to your entire team, speak to other people, and once you've got what you think is right, go and prove it. Go and actually take your existing client base and say, okay, does this person fit within this category on their behaviors? Are they around that sort of individual? Are we working around the correct profile? Are we on the right market space? And that's the key to be able to get there. So, turn the music off. And so just understanding where we're working and where that's going is critical to understanding how your sales funnel is going to work. Now, Facebook has come up with a really interesting tool that they've created in the last probably 3 weeks. They've enhanced it, and I see they've not quite finished yet. They're still working on it. But with Facebook allows you to determine and create a what they call an audience focus. So when you're running adverts or campaigns on Facebook, you are allowed to define an audience. Now, before this new enhancement in Facebook, you could define their location and you could say this country or this town, and you could then define, I think, 5Ks, 25Ks, 40Ks, 80Ks of that certain spot with a geolocation. And then you could define an age group, and it pretty much ran from 16 up to 60. And that was it. And then you could choose the languages that you wanted to market to. And that was pretty much it. Then they added little thing at the window at the bottom was interest, and you could then put stuff in there that you've got to be interested in soccer and maybe fitness and health, and you could throw that sort of thing in. And then it came back with a number to say this is the audience that you are after. And it was pretty good. You were able to kind of target and zoom into that. What they've done, they've taken that and they've enhanced it dramatically. We now have a manual. And I want to kind of show you this is the manual that you've got, and it's pretty much sitting there, and it's close to 30 pages of defining your client. So it goes page after page after page of lists and stuff. And each one of these lists goes on and on about defining who your client is. And they've split it up into a number of headings. So you're able to go there and you can still define people by their location, and you can do location, age, gender, language. They've kept that. They've kept the higher level stuff there. And then they go demographics and understanding the whole demographics and thing there, and being able to really define right down to the types of homes people live in and where they are. Now, understand is, where's Facebook getting this information from? Well, firstly, they're getting it from your profile, because they ask you to list your life events. They ask you to list your age and gender. They know where you live, and they can then go there and they can fish out of the posts that you put. The more posts you put on there, the more targeted your marketing is going to be that comes to you. But you also, there's a single sign-on point that Facebook uses. And just think of all the different places you've used Facebook to sign up to your apps and various websites and all that. And they do that for a very specific reason, to gain access to what that app does and what you're posting on there, to be able to define your profile. Now, you can run screaming for the hills to say, oh, you know, they're violating my rights, but you've given them permission to do that. And if you read all the terms and conditions in that little box that you just click yes, you'd understand that you've actually given them all the authority to fish that information or to scrape that information out of that. So they know what phone you've got, they know what tablet you've got, they know where you are, they know where you drive, they understand where you are, understand your habits. They probably know more about you than your mother does or your spouse does, and understanding with that. And it's a good thing, because as small business owners and marketers, we're able to turn that information out and we're able to target people. So you're not wasting your advertising spend, you're targeting with a laser beam those types of people. So you can go down to say that I actually want to target all the women who live in Rosebank in Johannesburg, who drive Mercedes Benzes, who have got Apple phones, who have got kids at school, and who have got an anniversary coming up in the next month. And you're able to target that very, very quickly. And you can see online how many people fit that profile. And if it's not a profile that's working, you can then withdraw to say, okay, what about adding a different type of car? And creating that profile with it, you can add things, but you can also take away things. So you can say, well, give me all the women who live in Rosebank that drive other cars except Jeeps and stuff. So then you would target everybody who's not driving a Jeep. So you can do ads and add knots into creating a profile. So it's very, very powerful to be able to pack that. And if you just think, if I gave you 30 pages of options, you can target and define your client archetypes down to the finest detail. And a little game that we want to play if we find time is, how can you create a profile on Facebook that literally lays down to about 50 people in a large area, and defining that right down to the finest little behavior information. Now, a lot of the information in here is not really relevant to South Africa because they're United States. So when they talk about political affiliation, then they obviously speaking very much around the what's happening in the States, and a lot of their vehicles and behaviors and clothes and food and stuff is obviously orientated around folks in the States. But if you're a South African business marketing in the States, or if you're in the States marketing to the States, this profile tool really comes into its own, because you can laser beam your marketing. And even if you're not using Facebook, it's a good exercise to go through, because we've got all the categories already listed for us. Now, what we're doing as a kind of an offering going forward for the rest of the month is we're willing to share this information with you. We've spent days and days and days extracting this information off Facebook and putting it into a workable workbook with a worksheet that goes with it. And we're going to be running a number of online courses with it. So these online courses are going to be available soon. And we're going to run in-house courses for the people who are able to get to us in Cape Town, bring your own water. and we then are able to do a few of these online. And it's very key to be able to understand how to mine that information and get that information out there. And then we've got a very clear roadmap that fits within the sales funnel and the sales cycle to get from defining who your clients are to that convert part there. And it's the inform and the educate, getting to the sell, and then very important, the upsell and the resell, getting people from capturing information through to the convert, and then being able to speak directly to them. You don't want to put stuff on Facebook and hoping someone's going to read it. In fact, if you look at your Facebook profile, more recently, you're going to see less and less and less information that's provided by your friends for free. You're seeing more and more of this targeted information, and it's where Facebook is going. Facebook is becoming a very commercial focused thing, and unless people are paying to put information on it, the chances of you going to get to see it is minimal. So information just coming from individuals has been reduced dramatically. Information coming from groups and pages are on the increase, but paid content is definitely high. Just go to your Facebook wall and just scroll down and see how much of that information is actually being pushed to you by Facebook, by other people that's paying Facebook to do it. And you might even not know it because it's not an obvious thing, because it's so much in your interest. But go and have a look at that. Go and see how many people have been targeted with relevant information that's so relevant that you actually think a close friend of yours has put it on your Facebook wall. This is where Facebook is going. This is how to take advantage, to take your business from where it is to where you need to be using simple platforms like Facebook. You can reach tens of thousands of people for less than 100 Rand on Facebook if you're defining this carefully. We ran a 5-day campaign just last week, and it cost me $15. It's 150 Rand, 180 Rand. And we got about 4,500 responses. So it's really interesting, just understanding where we're getting from that, how's that focusing, and it's beginning to work for us, it's beginning to work for our clients, and it can work for you too. So understand where that is, understand where we're going there, and let's unpack this together, let's learn together, let's understand that the more information we throw at Facebook, the more resources we're going to get out, the more we're going to learn there, and we're happy to share that with you in a number of exercises and workshops that we. So if you're interested, drop me a line, respond to this email on our blog or on Facebook, and let's start unpacking this and developing a kick-ass sales funnel that works for you and your business. My name is Bruce Wade. You can get hold of me at bruce@em-solutions, and you can chat to us about creating a marketing funnel for your business that's going to take your business from here right up to where you need to be. So next week we're going to chat further about marketing, but this video is going to be reposted, and if you're watching here live or you're watching on our blog or Facebook later, get hold of us if you want to enhance your organization and get into the future. We will chat next week. Thank you very much.